Hello and welcome to the first episode of our English Zone podcast channel. Today, my friend and I are going to teach you English through conversation.
That's right.
My name is John.
And I'm Emily. Hi, everyone. I'm really happy to be here talking with you and, well, helping you learn English in a more natural way.
Exactly. So for this deep dive, our main goal is really to help you understand and, use English as it's actually spoken in everyday life.
And we know you're learning, so we'll try to speak clearly and at a pace that's hopefully easy for you to follow.
Yeah, definitely. So we're going to be looking at a conversation from a YouTube channel. It's called English Podcast Zone.
Right, and specifically their episode 1, which has the title Learn English Quickly with Podcast English Learning Conversation.
So in that video, you hear Marco and Erica, and they present this short dialogues. It's between two people, Nick and Anna.
Yeah, and the situation, well, it's something I think we can all relate to, maybe even a little bit embarrassing sometimes.
Oh, for sure. We're going to take our time with it, though, really explore the language they use.
So in the original YouTube video, Marco and Erica, they play the first bit of the conversation at a normal, faster speed.
Right. We're going to play just a little snippet of that for you now, just so you can hear how it might sound in a typical chat. Don't worry if it seems quick.
Yeah, don't stress. We'll definitely slow it down and explain everything step by step later.
So just listen to this beginning part. Nick and Anna, they've met before at a conference. And now they've just kind of bumped into each other again in Nick's neighborhood.
Okay, here it goes. Short audio clip of Nick and Anna's fast initial dialogue.
Okay, so you probably heard some of that. Maybe a few words or phrases kind of jumped out at you.
Hopefully.
So the first phrase we really want to look at more closely is something Nick says. He says, "I'm in a bit of a hurry."
Yes. In a bit of a hurry. What does that really mean? Well, it tells you that Nick doesn't have a lot of time right then. He needs to move quickly. Maybe he's got something important to do or somewhere he needs to be,
Yeah, exactly. It's a really common way to say you don't have much time, but without being too direct or impolite even.
And Marco and Erica, they gave us some pretty good examples of how you might use this phrase. What was the first one?
The first one was, "Can you drive faster? I'm in a bit of a hurry."
Right. In that situation, you can imagine the person really needs to get somewhere fast. Maybe they're running late.
Definitely sounds like it.
Yeah.
Another example they gave was, "I can't talk right now. I'm in a bit of a hurry."
Yeah, this is something you might say if, someone stops you for a chat when you're actually rushing to an appointment or trying to finish something up.
It's a polite way to cut the conversation short, isn't it?
It is. And the third example.
That was, "I'm in a bit of a hurry, so I'll check these files later."
Okay, so this shows the person has something, more urgent to deal with right now, but they promise to get back to the files when they have more time.
So you can see that "in a bit of a hurry" is a super useful phrase. It just explains you need to move quickly because, you don't have much time available.
Simple as that.
Okay, so our next important phrase from their conversation is contact details. Anna asks Nick if he still has her contact details. What are those exactly?
Contact details. Yeah, that basically refers to all the information you need to get in touch with someone.
Right.
Think about it. If you meet a new friend or a business connection, what info would you need?
Well, you'd need their name, for starters.
Yeah.
Definitely. And then probably their phone number, so you can call them. Or maybe their email address to send a message. And sometimes, like in business, you swap business cards, right? They have all the contact details right there.
Exactly. So contact details includes things like, your name, your telephone number, your email address, maybe your mobile number too.
Oh, the necessary stuff.
It's all the information that lets people phone you or text you or shoot you an email. So when Anna asks Nick about her contact details, she's checking if he still has her info to get in touch later.
Got it. Okay, the third phrase. This one's kind of funny, like Marco and Erica said. It's "slipped my mind."
Yeah. Slipped my mind.
In the dialogue, Nick says something a little awkward. He says, "This is really embarrassing, but your name has just slipped my mind." Sounds a bit odd at first, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. But slipped my mind is actually a really common and kind of gentle way of saying you forgot something.
Right.
The interesting thing is it usually suggests you didn't forget on purpose. It just somehow left your memory, like the thought just slipped away.
Like it wasn't your fault almost. Marco and Erica gave a couple of examples to help us really get it. The first one was, "I'm sorry I forgot to respond to your email. It just slipped my mind."
Okay, so in that case, the person's apologizing for not replying. And by saying it just slipped my mind, they're kind of implying, hey, it wasn't intentional, I just genuinely forgot.
Makes sense. And the second example, this one's pretty common and often, a bit funny. Don't you know what day it is today? Oh, it's your birthday. It completely slipped my mind.
Oh, that's so relatable. Forgetting a birthday can be super awkward, right?
Totally.
But saying it completely slipped my mind helps soften it a bit. It suggests it was just an unintentional mistake, an oversight.
So the key thing to remember is slip my mind means you forgot something, usually by accident.
Got it.
Okay, now, in the original YouTube video, Marco and Erica had this section called Putting It Together.
Right, where they help you see how words fit into, natural context.
Exactly. And the first phrase they looked at there was around here. Nick asks Anna, do you live around here? So what does around here mean?
Around here, yeah, that's a really useful one. It basically just means nearby or close to the place where you are right now.
So when Nick asks Anna if she lives around here, he's asking if her home is like in this neighborhood.
Yeah.
Or very close to it.
Precisely. They gave a simple example too. Is there a bank around here? And then they explained that's the same as asking, is there a bank close to here?
Okay, so you use around here when you're looking for something nearby.
Yeah. And they also mentioned a slight variation, right around the corner. If someone says something is right around the corner, what does that tell you?
Right around the corner. That sounds even closer. Like very, very close. Just on the next street, maybe?
Exactly. It's more specific than just around here.
Yeah.
Marco's example was good. Marco, there's a great restaurant right around the corner.
Meaning?
Meaning there is a great restaurant on the other street, like super close.
Okay. And then there was also around there. How's that different from around here or right around the corner?
Around there is, well, it's less specific. It means kind of in the general area, the vicinity, but not necessarily right next to where you are.
So more general.
Yeah. Erica gave the example. Los Angeles is a great city. I used to live around there.
Which means?
Which means you used to live near Los Angeles, maybe in a suburb or a nearby town, but not necessarily right downtown LA.
Okay, so around there points to a more general location.
Let's recap quickly then. Around here means close to where you are now. Right around the corner means extremely close, like next street over.
Got it.
And around there means in the general area, not immediately beside you.
Makes sense.
Ah.
Okay, the second phrase in their putting it together bit was terrible with.
Right.
In the dialogue, Anna tries to make Nick feel better about forgetting her name. She says, don't worry about it. It happens to me all the time. I'm terrible with names too.
Terrible with.
So what does it mean to be terrible with something?
Terrible with is just a very, very common way to say that you're really bad at something. Or that you find something really difficult.
Like you have no skill in that area.
Yeah, pretty much. It expresses a strong lack of ability. Marco and Erica gave 3 clear examples. What was the first?
First one, you're terrible with numbers. You can't even remember your own telephone number.
Wow, okay. That really emphasizes how bad the person is with numbers, doesn't it? Can't even remember their own phone number.
Yeah. The second example was, I'm terrible with directions. I'm always getting lost.
Okay, that describes someone like me. Someone with no sense of direction, always getting lost. It highlights their difficulty with navigation.
And the third one, which fits Anna's situation perfectly, was, I'm terrible with faces. I can never remember what people look like.
Exactly. And that explains why Anna gets it. When Nick forgets her name, she says she has the same problem, but with faces.
Right. Marco even admitted he's personally terrible with numbers, joked he could barely add 2 + 2, and also terrible with faces. So it's a really common, relatable way to describe something you just find really hard.
Definitely. Very useful phrase.
Okay, so now that we've dug into these important phrases a bit, let's listen to that dialogue between Nick and Anna again.
Good idea.
This time, like Marco and Erica did, we'll play it at a slightly slower speed. As you listen, try to pick out the phrases we just talked about. Around here, right around the corner, in a bit of a hurry, contact details, slipped my mind, and terrible with.
Listen closely for those. Slower audio clip of Nick and Anna's dialogue.
Okay. Hopefully hearing it slower like that made it a bit easier to catch those phrases, in the flow of the conversation.
Yeah, context helps so much. Now, Marco and Erica also had that section called Fluency Builder.
Right, focusing on making your English sound more natural.
Exactly. And one of the first things Anna says to Nick right at the start is, how's it going?
Yeah. How's it going?
Such a great example of a natural, really casual way to greet someone. It means pretty much the same as how are you or how are you doing?
But it sounds different, doesn't it?
It does. While how are you is totally fine. You hear it all the time. How's it going? Just feels a bit more relaxed, more informal. Like Marco said, it sounds really, really natural in everyday situations.
Let's just hear that little bit again, where Anna says it. Short audio clip of Anna saying, how's it going? So yeah, like Marco suggested, maybe next time you bump into a friend or someone you know casually, try saying, hey, how's it going? Instead of just, hello, how are you?
Yeah, give it a try. It can make your English sound a bit more conversational, more fluent.
Definitely.
Now, because the dialogue situation is all about Nick forgetting Anna's name, Marco and Erica then talked a bit more about that whole potentially awkward experience.
Right, the embarrassment factor.
Yeah. Marco even shared a funny story about forgetting a family member's name at a reunion. Oh gosh, we've all been there, haven't we? Knowing someone, seeing their face, but the name, just gone.
Oh, absolutely. It's happened to me more times than I'd like to admit. You see someone you know, you totally recognize them, but their name has just evaporated. It's so uncomfortable.
It really is. And that's why Erica then shared some really useful strategies for when you're in that spot forgetting someone's name, especially maybe in a more professional setting.
Yeah. What were her tips again? They were quite clever.
Well, one really good one she mentioned was to try and ask for their business card.
Ah, that's smart.
Yeah. That way you can just read their name right off the card without having to directly ask again, which could be embarrassing for everyone involved.
That is a smooth way to handle it.
Yeah.
Very polite, very professional. It lets you discreetly get the name without making a big deal about forgetting it.
Yeah.
What was the other trick?
The other one was asking them to spell out their email address for you.
Oh, right.
You could say something like, hey, could you just spell out your email address for me again? And usually their full name is right there in the email address.
Another subtle way to get the info you need. That's really helpful.
They are both really practical tips, aren't they? And I bet many of you listening, as you're learning English, might find yourselves in similar spots. It happens to everyone.
For sure. It's just part of human interaction sometimes.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so now let's listen to the whole dialogue between Nick and Anna one last time. This time, at the natural speed you'd probably hear in a real conversation.
Right. Now that we've broken down some language and looked at those phrases, see how much more you can understand this time. Audio clip of Nick and Anna's dialogue at natural speed.
Great. Now, to really help cement these new words and phrases in your brain, Marco and Erica finished their lesson with something they called an English Pod audio review.
Yeah, that was a good wrap-up.
In that part, they went through the vocabulary and phrases, gave the meaning, and then said the word or phrase. We thought we'd do a similar review with you now.
Excellent idea. Active recall is key. So, as I say the meaning, you try to say the English word or phrase out loud before we do. Okay. First one.
How are you?
How's it going?
Close to here.
Right here.
On the next street.
Around the corner.
Moving quickly, having no time.
In a bit of a hurry.
Information required to contact someone, for example. Telephone number, email address.
Contact details.
Been forgotten.
Slip my mind.
Bad at.
Terrible with.
Close to there.
Around there.
To know and remember someone or something you've seen before.
To recognize. Someone you know, but who is not a close friend.
Acquaintance.
Move quickly. Not have much time.
In a rush.
Forgetting things easily.
Forgetful.
Okay, nice job. Let's try those again, maybe a little quicker this time. Ready. Bad at.
Terrible with.
Forgetting things easily.
Forgetful.
To know and remember someone or something you have seen before.
To recognize.
Close to there.
Around there.
Moving quickly, having no time.
In a bit of a hurry.
Close to here.
Around here.
Move quickly, not have much time.
In a rush.
How are you?
How's it going?
On the next street.
Around the corner.
Information required to contact someone. For example, telephone number, email address.
Contact details.
Someone you know, but who is not a close friend.
Acquaintance.
Been forgotten.
Slipped my mind.
Fantastic. Well done, everyone. Now, just like in the original audio review, let's hear these words and phrases actually used in some example sentences. See them in action.
Okay, first up. Around here. Example. Excuse me, is there a post office around here?
Another one for around here. I think I dropped my keys somewhere around here.
One more for tortoise. Around here, there's a fantastic coffee shop just around here.
Now for around the corner, if you're looking for the museum, it's right around the corner.
Around the corner. You might find a parking spot right around the corner.
Around the corner, there used to be a great bookstore right around the corner.
Okay, next phrase. In a bit of a hurry. Example. I'm in a bit of a hurry right now, but I'll call you back later.
In a bit of a hurry. He realized he was late, so he was in a bit of a hurry.
In a bit of a hurry. Could you please be quick? I'm in a bit of a hurry.
Next, contact details. Could you please give me your contact details so I can reach you?
Contact details. You can find all my contact details on my website.
Contact details. I seem to have lost your contact details. Could you send them to me again?
Next phrase. Slipped my mind. I meant to call you yesterday, but it completely slipped my mind.
Slipped my mind. Don't worry about it. It happens. It just slipped my mind, too.
Slipped my mind. Oh, no. It was your anniversary. It totally slipped my mind.
And finally, terrible with. I can never remember birthdays. I'm terrible with dates.
He's terrible with technology. He always needs help with his computer.
Terrible with. I'm terrible with names, so please remind me if I forget yours.
Well, that wraps it up, doesn't it? That brings us to the end of our very first deep dive into learning English through conversation.
Yeah, time flew by.
We really hope you found this helpful, and maybe you feel a bit more comfortable, more confident using some of these new words and phrases in your own English.
Absolutely. And remember, the best way to learn really is just through consistent practice. Keep listening to English. Try speaking when you get the chance.
Don't be afraid to make mistakes.
Exactly. Don't be discouraged by mistakes. Everyone makes them. It's just a totally natural part of learning.
Yeah. And we are definitely planning more deep dives like this one, exploring different parts of English learning through conversations like these.
So please do stay tuned for our next session.
We're really looking forward to continuing this English learning journey with all of you.
Me too.
So, for now, thank you so much for joining us for this first deep dive.
Goodbye, everyone, and happy learning.